Good morning, Facebook family and friends in the United States and all over the world. This is Dr. Paulina Van. I am the author of Regala Healing, and I'm here this morning this is the first show, and so I hope you embrace me as I take you on this inaugural journey. We're in the season of Thanksgiving, and we've been through another unique year. And so I thought this morning, as we begin, I would focus on gratitude. And I'm going to ask you to engage in this time. I'm going to ask that I'm going to offer you tools that you'll be able to take with you. That I love to have my talks and presentations have a portability in them. So in preparing for this time with you, I sought the references that I usually use. I'm in California in the Bay Area, and we have two phenomenal research centers around gratefulness at the University of California, Berkeley, which is in the Bay Area, and the University of California in Davis, which is up north, a little less than 100 miles from here. But there are researchers and centers that focus on gratefulness. And so I've been really fortunate to be able to access them. So this morning, we're going to start with a meditation. I like to start my time in person or virtually with a brief meditation. And it's used, I'm going to use heart math this morning, and it's a way of getting into our hearts, focus and being in the moment. It's Sunday morning. Some of you may be getting ready for your religious service or other activity for the day. And this is just a way to be in the moment. There's benefit of being in the moment. And so I'm going to ask you to, and this is an invitation. I want you to know that it is an invitation for you to join me. And it's called Heart Focus Breathing. So I'd like you to, sometimes it's helpful when you do this for the first time to just put your hand on your heart or your chest area so you can focus on your heart. And I'm going to invite you to either lower your gaze or close your eyes, or just focus on something that you can focus on, nothing too busy. Okay, and then we're going to use the breath to help us to focus and center. That's another word for meditation. So focus your attention in your heart area. Imagine that your breath is flowing in and out of your heart and your chest area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. So I'll guide you, and a nice rhythm would be breathe 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Now, you may be more comfortable with 4 seconds, or you may be more comfortable with 6 seconds, but I'm going to use 5 for now. So breathe in, focusing on your heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that a couple more times. Remember to focus on your heart or your chest area. Maybe your hand will help you. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time on your own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. So now we can get started. And what I'd like to do is begin by asking you, and let me see if I can get the chat up here. I'm asking you to write in the chat what comes to mind when I say the word gratitude. So think. So write one or two words or a short phrase. What comes to mind when I say gratitude? All right. Let me see if I can see what's being said. Okay. So you're still thinking, that's fine. Let me start with a description of gratitude. So when you think about gratitude, the first thing that came to my mind was when you say thank you for something that someone has done. So you say it's an action, thank you. However, gratitude is much more than an action. It is a positive emotion. It's a deep appreciation for someone or something that produces long lasting positive physiologic effects. So it affects your body, your mind, your spirit. It's an acknowledgement of the goodness in your life. So I'm going to keep it just no scientific uh, wording right now. It's a mental tool that we use to remind us of the good stuff in our life. It's a spotlight we shine on other people who give us the good things in our life or enhance our life in some way. Gratitude can be contagious, and I'm going to tell you more about that a little later. For those of you who would like to know more about the science, I'm going to share the definition of gratitude. Okay? And it's a scientific that's been developed with research. Gratitude is a feeling that occurs in interpersonal exchanges when one person acknowledges receiving a valuable benefit from another. Gratitude is a cognitive affective state. That means mind and emotion that is typically associated with the perception that one has received a personal benefit that was not intentionally sought after, deserved, or earned, but rather because of good intentions of another person. So we see that gratitude in itself is very complex. It involves feelings, it involves exchanges, it involves acknowledgement. It's the mind and the emotions, or the mind and the heart. It's perceptions. And it's the altruism of another person. Some benefits of gratitude. Okay. And I want to say that I'm not saying that you have to practice gratitude. I'm inviting you to cultivate it, consider it. It's an invitation. And so, what are some of the benefits of gratitude? Gratitude um, enhances your overall, well, when you practice gratitude, when you embrace it, it enhances the overall well being, how you navigate each day, how you navigate the world, how you navigate relationships. And so, people who practice gratitude on a regular basis tend to be more agreeable, more open, more satisfied with their life. Those who suffer from depression, if gratitude practices are added as adjunct to the prescribed therapies, it tends to manage the depression better. Gratitude practitioners live longer, have fewer stress related illnesses, lower blood pressure, physically fit because they're motivated to move their bodies. Another benefit of practicing gratitude is it strengthens your interpersonal relationships. It helps you get along better with people. Um, Forgiveness is is greatest among people who express gratitude towards each other. So if you want to have that closer relationship and navigate forgiveness in a more healthy, life producing way, or life promoting, health promoting way, practice gratitude. And it also promotes um, and maintains stronger connections and satisfaction in your relationships. Now, the other benefit, and I can speak definitely personally to this, it fosters stronger self control. And so, control, as you know, is related to discipline and focus. My late brother used to tell me I had control issues. And yeah, I recognize it. But being more grateful will promote this self control in a healthier way. So, uh, if you are an impulse buyer, or you are resisting some type of um, addiction, and it may be an addiction to food, it may be addiction to something else, to cigarettes, or anything else. Being grateful may help you to be more in control and focus of what your goals are around those activities. And lastly, well, not lastly, but the last area that I'll cover this morning is that gratitude overall helps you to have a better life, enhance your life on a daily basis. So you you may be more energetic, more optimistic. That brings on more happiness, and interestingly enough, less envious if that's something that you struggle with. I have one more area, and I wanted to share how gratitude, practicing gratitude, will improve teams. That may be sports teams, it may be work teams, or groups. And I want to give you an example. There was a swim and diving coach locally in the Bay Area, University of California, Berkeley, and she used gratitude activities. She incorporated them into each practice, and so over her 2 decades of coaching, her team won several NCAA national championships, and she attributes this to gratitude, enhancing the team cohesion and making their work practices a lot more productive. And so, if you can think about working in groups, is work group or social group, practicing gratitude may bring you to a higher level of cohesion, and therefore more satisfying relationships. Gratitude also can be very contagious. And what do I mean by that? I said that earlier. And that is, expressing gratitude to another person may compel them to have a desire to reciprocate to you. And then there's just this positive chain reaction that may occur, that they reciprocate it to, or give it to their families, and the families take it to the workplace, the community. So as you can see, gratitude is very much health promoting. I want to share with you some habits of grateful people. And some of these are going, I'm going to the edge with some of these, but I think it's really, really important that we talk about what are some of the habits of grateful people. So I teach a death and dying course too. I'm using this as an example. How thinking about loss, and how you can become more grateful when you think about loss. Now, the reality is that we've been 20 months and experienced loss of loved ones, of friends, of coworkers, perhaps a loss of how we earn a living, And it's been a lot of loss. So we haven't had to really consciously think about it. But I teach this class of deaf and dying to pre-licensure nursing students. So they're about in their 20s, mid and late 20s. And most of them have not experienced loss. And if they have experienced loss, it's been very um, few of the students, and they have lost their grandparents, and a few have lost friends. And they say to me, I wish I had more time to express my gratitude to this person. And at the end of the class, they said they were very afraid of coming to learn about death. But by learning about death, they've learned how to live their life in a more satisfying and grateful way. So um, I just ask that you think about, is there someone you're taking for granted, including yourself? Um, and just imagine your life without that special person. And so, is it time to just show some gratitude to that person in some little way? And I'm going to give you a couple of practices before we leave this morning. We're in the pandemic, as I mentioned, and it's still evolving and it's uncertain, but there are things that we can be grateful for, such as our health. Either we've remained healthy, or if we did become ill, we've recovered from that illness. So that's something to be grateful for. And be grateful for the frontline healthcare workers and those essential workers who, on the grocery store, the vet clinics, the gas station, all of those essential workers have been putting themselves at risk. So we are really grateful for them. We began the session with being in the moment, practicing being in the moment. And so another phrase for that is smelling the roses. Well, I'll say, smell the coffee, smell what's baking in the oven. When you go outside, smell the breeze. Just being in the moment. When you're in a conversation, it's normal for our mind to wander. And I just say, try to focus, be active listener, be present, even if you're silent. Have good eye contact. Be in the moment. Multitasking, I think in the 90s was very, very popular. And research has shown it's it's not the most effective or productive. Well, you can't be the most productive by multitasking. And I'm sure some of you out there will say, I do it all the time. But the research has shown, and I do it too, but the research has shown that it's not the most effective way to get your work done. So try to be in the moment. Breathing is a perfect way to just be in the moment. Another thing is, when you're expressing gratitude, be specific. Okay. So I'll use a couple of my examples, and so I'll say to my husband, "I love when you get takeout for dinner, when I am tired after working a long day. Um, I love when you give me hugs when I'm stressed from juggling too many things. Your hugs make me feel better." So when you are specific, the gratitude feels a lot more authentic. Lastly, be grateful during troubling or bad times. And I know, it's hard. Um, but the more you do it, the more you exercise that gratitude muscle, the more it becomes a natural way of you responding in situations. And so I'll use an example. I know I can relate to it, and that is a time when a romantic partner ends a relationship. So you think, what do I have to be grateful for? Well, maybe you can thank the person for having the courage to end the relationship that wasn't working. So that's just one example. I want to move into, because I want to give you some tools. We just have a few more minutes left, and I want to share with you some tools of how to be more grateful. So let me share the quick ones first, because there are two that always come up: writing a letter and gratitude journaling. But I want to offer you a couple of other ones first, and that is try to have one complaint free day a week. What do you think about that? Consistent complaining leads to decreased happiness. So pick a day, and complaining thoughts may come up in your head that particular day, but you're going to consciously say, I'm not going to complain today. Maybe I'll turn it into a recommendation or a solution or a proposal or a suggestion, but just not a complaint, and see how that works. The other is, and I hope we can share these, is saying grateful affirmations. And I have, if we don't share it during the program, we'll put it down below the video. But I have about 20 of them, grateful affirmations. And you can, embrace one during your quiet time as a morning ritual. Say, I am grateful for my family. I am grateful to have shelter and food. I'm grateful to be part of this amazing universe or world or group. I'm grateful for the beauty of the nature that's all around me. So we can go on, and I'm going to share when we close my poem. But what I'd like you to do is think about two things that are grateful practices that I have personally found incredibly helpful. And I've also mentored others, including my students, to do these practices. The first is a grateful journal. And you can do it a number of ways, but one way is every day to write down three things that you're grateful for that have already happened, and three things that you're grateful for that you want to happen. And so there's a verse that talks about act as if it has already happened. And so that's what I do on a daily basis. I write three things that I want to happen, but I'm already claiming that they'll happen, and three things that I'm grateful for. So try that. And you don't have to get a fancy journal, just a notepad or a spiral book, or you can buy a pretty journal. The next thing is I'd like to ask you and guide you in is the letter of writing, the practice of writing a gratitude letter. Okay. And so I want you, and this is how you do it. Again, if we're unable to share it right now, we'll put it below the video. But I want you to choose someone in your life who has been really helpful and kind to you, yet you've not had an opportunity to express your gratitude. Okay, so think about that person. Think about a moment, or take a moment to think about the things that person has done. And so in your letter, you're going to say dear and use their name and write what this person did, why you are so grateful to this person, and how that has affected your life. Okay? So, what this person did, why you're grateful to this person, and how this person's behavior affected your life. And then you sign it love or sincerely, etc. Don't want you to worry about grammar or anything like that. And if you can, writing the letter is enough. But if you want to take it to the next level, read it to that person or deliver it to that person or get on a phone call to read it or get on virtually to read it and see what effect that has. Okay. All right. Lastly, I want to show you another practice that you can do on your own. It's related to the heart breathing that I shared with you earlier. And that is, again, you're going to focus your attention on your heart and your chest area. And you're going to imagine that your heart is breathing. So when you inhale, your heart's going to get bigger. When you exhale, it's going to get smaller. So you're going to imagine that the breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. So remember, you can count 5 in and 5 out. So I want you to do that a couple times so we can get focused again. And now, this is where we take it to another level. I'd like you to make a sincere attempt to experience what is called a regenerative feeling. So a feeling of joy and love, appreciation, or care for someone or something in your life. Okay. So as you're breathing in and out, I want you to experience a feeling such as appreciation or care for someone or something in your life. And that someone or something, or I should say, the something can be a pet, it could be a special place, it could be an accomplishment, and the someone could be anyone that you have just love or caring feelings toward. Okay. Okay. So take one more heart focused breath. And I'd like to end this session today with a poem from my book entitled I'm Grateful. And the book is Regala Healing. And if you have it, it's on page 87. And I'm going to read it as a close. I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful it's going my way. I'm grateful to show compassion. I'm grateful it's my passion. I'm grateful for life itself. I'm grateful for every test. I'm grateful for the little things. I'm grateful they make my spirit sing. I'm grateful for blessings. They bring lessons. I'm grateful for this heart of mine. I'm just truly grateful all the time. So with that, I ask that with your grateful hearts that you have a wonderful, wonderful day and enjoy the holiday of Thanksgiving if as it approaches, or if you if it's not something you celebrate. I just ask that I invite you to cultivate this emotion of gratefulness and and just enhance the way that you live this beautiful life of ours. Okay, I'll see you again. This is Dr. Paulina Van, the author of Regala Healing. And if you're interested in learning more about me or the book, information will be available to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.